Yeah.
Okay, is everything good?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So should I just do everything over again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I entitled my project My Kulaiwi Around the World because my mo'oku auhau comes from so many different places, and I thought it was really cool to show you guys that Kulaiwi isn't just the land of your ancestors in Ohana, but also how you tell the stories of the land and altering it to your perspective. Another reason I also wanted to do this presentation and show you guys, my Ohana is because this was definitely a rough patch, and they really had to work hard to be where I am today and living my life here. And a lot of times that gets shut away and you close the door, but really it needs to be shown and they need to be recognized. Okay, so I'm gonna do like two kind of family trees, but instead of doing like a family tree just with the names and all that stuff, I'm gonna show the different places that my kulaiwi is. So I could put the Hawaiian flag right here, but these are just this is my dad's side. Okay. Oh, by the way, I know like all of these names. It's just that my grandparents said that they might not be true, so I couldn't put them. Okay. So I guess I can use this. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of break it down a little bit, just because I thought it was really interesting, especially the journey. Okay, so starting up here, both pairs of my great-great-grandparents, they both came from Japan to the Hawaiian Islands to work on the plantations, but never ended up doing so. So my Sakaino side, right here on the left, came from Tokyo and landed in Lahaina, which is on Maui. And he became a manager of an ice house where he met my great-great-grandmother. The other side is my Watanabe side, and my great-great-grandfather moved from Japan, and we don't really know where from, but he landed in Honolulu, where he was known to be the biggest entrepreneur of his time because he created so many successful businesses like a fish cake factory and a produce market. He later on met my great-great-grandmother, who recently moved from Honolulu from Kona. Now, to go like a level down, these are my great-grandparents. My great-grandfather was born in Lahaina and moved to Honolulu after World War II, where he met my great-grandmother. And then my grandpa was born over here in Honolulu and met my grandma in college at California Pacific Union College. Okay, so going all the way up here, this is super cool. My great-great-grandparents to the right. My great-great-grandmother to the left was a part of an Algonquin and Mohawk tribe. So I hope you can see that. So here is the Iroquois Nation, which is super cool. And she resides here, and she was in a reservation in Canada where the Algonquin tribe is. Which is okay, anyway. She then became an American citizen when she married my white great-great-grandfather. Okay, to the right, it tells of my great-great-grandparents coming from Germany to the East Coast. We don't really know where in the East Coast, but around 1920s for a better life from the Holocaust, when they had to change their name and move quietly. Anyway, my great-grandparents ended up being born in the East Coast, and my grandma was born in Massachusetts. But only 2 years later, she moved to California, where she met my grandpa. And then here's my dad. Yeah, so he was born in California, but then he moved to Honolulu, where he fell in love with my mom, and then they both moved to Oregon because my mom wanted to go to law school. Okay, here's my mom's side. These are the Chinese and Filipino.
Sophia, I think we lost you again. You were doing great.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, but we can see your pointer.
We see your pointer. We can't hear you.
Like, oh, there you go. You can't hear me anymore?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry. Could you hear what I just said? Or
No.
not at all?
No. We just saw your title slide and then tell us that you're Chinese and Filipino, and then we couldn't hear you anymore.
Oh. Well, anyway, we're here now, and I mean, the whole reason why, like, okay, anyway, we just don't have a lot of information. So, my great great grandparents on this side never left mainland China, but my other great great grandparents were set up with an arranged marriage that took place in Honolulu. And even though I don't like the idea of arranged marriage, I wouldn't be here without that. So, anyway. Um, so anyway, my great grandfather
Sophia, we can't hear anything you're saying.
Can you not hear me again?
Now we can hear you again, but whatever you said, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. So honestly, it's all on the slide. Like most of you guys can read. Like all of you guys can read. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all. Um, and then just going up here, uh, this is where the Philippines came, and again, like Hawaii was kind of used as the paradise site, and honestly, they just packed up and went to paradise, but they came back kind of, they stayed and realized that it wasn't really like that, and they had to work on plantations, and it was really hard. And I know my grandma, she said that living in the Philippines, they did work on the fields and all those things, but they could take a break whenever they wanted. And, it wasn't like a job, it was more of like just a family. And it was just part of their culture, but now it feels like hard work. Okay, so, and basically, my great grandfather was born on Oahu because he came here by himself, I'm pretty sure, and he got a job at Pearl Harbor, so my great grandmother didn't have to work. Um, then they went back to the Philippines, and my grandmother was born. And when she was 17 years old, she moved to Honolulu. But sadly, she had to work on the plantations, and I mean, not sadly, but definitely it was because she loved it here. Okay, so lastly, it's amazing to come from so many different places with unique stories and still up in the same place, the Hawaiian Islands. So even though I'm not necessarily Hawaiian or I can't prove it right now, I still feel connected because that's where all my ancestors and relatives came from, and I think that's super cool. Not came from, but traveled to. From this project, I learned how hard my kupuna worked, and yet another reason to be thankful for everything I have today. I mean, because without them, definitely wouldn't be here. And I'm proud to be multiracial. And just lastly, this is my grandparents that helped put this together. It definitely took a few days to get information, and they really helped. And I'm still glad they kept on to most of the information.
Okay.
Awesome job, Sophia.
Good job. Any questions?
You were able to go pretty far back